Hello, Toon Army! Absolutely cracking day to talk about our beloved Newcastle United, isn't it? The sun's shining on St. James's Park, and there's plenty to discuss as we continue our march toward European glory. What do you think about Bryan Mbeumo potentially joining our attacking lineup next season? And how would you feel if Sandro Tonali turned down interest from European giants to stay loyal to Newcastle? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. The summer transfer window is drawing closer, lads and lasses, and it's looking like it's going to be an absolutely massive one for the best team in the world. Our director of football, Paul Mitchell, is already hard at work identifying top talents to strengthen our squad, and one name that's risen to the top of the wish list is Brentford's Bryan Mbeumo. The Cameroon international has been nothing short of sensational this season for the Bees. When Ivan Toney left in January, many wondered if Brentford would struggle, but Mbeumo has stepped up magnificently, netting an impressive 18 goals and providing 6 assists in 33 Premier League appearances. Those are the kind of numbers that make you sit up and take notice, aren't they? Sources close to the club suggest we're leading the race for his signature, with a valuation of around $50 million being placed on the 25-year-old forward. It's a substantial sum, but for a proven Premier League goalscorer entering his prime years, it could represent excellent business. Just imagine him linking up with Alexander Isak and Anthony Gordon. That front three would terrify any defense in Europe. What makes this potential transfer even more intriguing is Mbeumo's contract situation. The forward will only have 12 months remaining on his deal when the summer window opens, putting Brentford in a difficult position. Sell now for a premium fee, or risk losing him for nothing in 2026. It's exactly the kind of situation that gives us leverage in negotiations. Brentford manager Thomas Frank has now publicly addressed the speculation, and his comments will be music to Newcastle fans' ears. Speaking to Sky Sports, the Danish manager admitted, "I want my best players to stay forever. I know that Bryan is very happy being here at Brentford. He's thriving, doing well, and playing fantastic. What happens in the future? I don't know." The most revealing part of Frank's interview came when he acknowledged Brentford's place in the football hierarchy. "I've said many times, we are a selling club, but at the same time, we have to reinforce that there are 10 clubs in the world who aren't selling clubs. So, of course, if the right price, and that's going to be expensive, is coming, then I'm sure the club will be open for it." That's as close to an admission as you'll get from a manager that one of their star players could be on the move. This summer, Frank is preparing Brentford supporters for Mbeumo's potential departure, and Newcastle are perfectly positioned to make it happen. Of course, it won't be a straightforward pursuit. Manchester United and Arsenal are also reportedly keen on Mbeumo, which could spark a bidding war. But with European football already secured through our Carabao Cup triumph, and potential Champions League qualification still very much in our hands as we sit third in the table, Newcastle United is becoming an increasingly attractive destination for top talent. What makes Mbeumo such an appealing target is his versatility. Capable of playing across the front line, he would give Eddie Howe tactical flexibility and provide competition and cover for our existing attackers. His pace, direct running, and clinical finishing would add another dimension to our already potent attack. The price tag of $50 million represents the new reality for Newcastle United. Gone are the days when we had to shop in the bargain basement. Under our ambitious ownership, and with Paul Mitchell's expertise in identifying talent, we're now targeting established Premier League stars who can immediately elevate our level. Mbeumo fits that profile perfectly. As Newcastle fans, We've waited patiently for the club to return to the upper echelons of English football. Now that we're back where we belong, competing for European places and challenging the traditional Big Six, signings like Mbeumo would further cement our status. It's an exciting time to be a Newcastle supporter, and the prospect of adding a player of Mbeumo's quality only adds to that excitement. While we're buzzing about potential incomings, there's equally important news regarding one of our own. Sandro Tonali, our Italian midfield maestro, has reportedly attracted attention from some of Europe's most prestigious clubs. But fear not. Toon Army, there's brilliant news coming out of the Tonali camp. According to Telegraph Football, Sandro is determined to stay at Newcastle United, despite interest from football's elite. The report suggests that Tonali wants to repay Eddie Howe, the supporters, and the club for the unwavering support he received during his gambling ban. Now that's the kind of loyalty we love to see at our football club. When Tonali arrived from AC Milan last summer, the excitement was palpable. Here was a player who had established himself as one of Serie A's premier midfielders, choosing Newcastle United over traditional European powerhouses. His early performances justified the hype. Composed on the ball, tenacious in the tackle, and with a football brain far beyond his years, the gambling suspension that followed was a bitter pill to swallow, both for the player and for us fans, who had quickly taken him to our hearts. But throughout that difficult period, the club stood firmly behind him. Eddie Howe consistently spoke about Tonali's importance to the project. The fans continued to sing his name at St. James Park, and the club provided unwavering support to help him through his suspension. That support hasn't gone unnoticed by the player. Despite court offside reporting that Manchester City, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Juventus, Bayern Munich, and Paris Saint-Germain are all monitoring his situation, Tonali's priority appears to be honouring his commitment to Newcastle. It's worth noting that these aren't just any clubs showing interest. They're the absolute cream of European football. When teams of that calibre come calling, many players' heads would be turned. But Tonali seems cut from a different cloth. His apparent desire to stay and repay the faith shown in him speaks volumes about his character and the culture Eddie Howe has fostered at Newcastle United. The reports suggesting PSG's interest are particularly interesting. The Parisians have built an impressive midfield with João Neves, Vitinha, Warren Zaire-Emery, and Fabian Ruiz, yet they still appear keen to add Tonali to their ranks. This just underlines the exceptional talent we have on our hands. A player capable of walking into almost any midfield in world football. Court offside suggestion that Newcastle might consider offers in the region of $80 million seems wide of the mark, especially in light of Telegraph's reporting about Tonali's desire to stay. Our owners have consistently demonstrated that Newcastle United is no longer a selling club. We're building something special here, and Tonali is central to those plans. Imagine for a moment what Tonali's return will mean for our midfield next season. It will feel like a new signing, a world-class midfielder, fresh and hungry to make up for lost time. Alongside Bruno Guimaraes, Joelinton, Sean Longstaff, and Joe Willock, he'll form part of one of the most balanced and dynamic midfields in the Premier League. The news of Tonali's commitment to Newcastle should also serve as a powerful message to potential new signings. When a player of his calibre shows such loyalty, it demonstrates the strong culture and positive environment that exists at the club. For targets like Brian Mbeumo, seeing how Newcastle stood by Tonali during difficult times could be a significant factor in their decision-making process. We often talk about the project at Newcastle United, the long-term vision to restore this great club to the pinnacle of English and European football. That project isn't just about signing the best players. It's about creating a sense of unity and belonging that makes players want to stay and fight for the badge. Tonali's reported stance is perhaps the clearest indication yet that Eddie Howe and the ownership group are succeeding in that aim. As supporters, we should take immense pride in this. Not only do we have a supremely talented footballer on our books, but we also have someone who appreciates what Newcastle United stands for. In an era where player loyalty is increasingly rare, Tonali's apparent commitment to repaying the club's faith is refreshingly old school. Well, that's all from St. James's Park for today. Lads and lasses, keep supporting the best team in the world, and I'll be back with more updates soon. The summer transfer window promises to be an exciting one, with potential new faces arriving, and our own Sandro Tonali rejecting Europe's elite to continue his journey with us. Howe the lads!